Hey everybody, what's up? This is Coach MJ with TriRight Coaching with this week's episode of TriRight Coaching Live. So this week we are going to talk about what to wear for winter running. So for most of us, well, for a lot of us here in the Midwest and maybe the East, I guess maybe in the West, you guys in the South, you still have some warm weather, but we are moving into the winter season. It's starting to get cold, but a lot of us still want to be able to run outside. So the question is, what do I wear? And I have to tell you guys, I've been running outside all year round since 2003, but every single year what happens to me is I forget. What am I supposed to wear in this temperature? What do I wear in that temperature? So I end up pulling like all this stuff out and should I wear this? Should I wear that? And I overdress or I underdress. I do all these wrong things. So why can't I figure this out? Like I just forget. Like a couple of cold runs and I'll figure it out. But I just want to talk to you tonight about like how you can figure out what you should wear on your next cold weather run. Hey Lara, hey Cindy. Hey Marcin, hey Cheryl, hey Bill, hey, what's up? You guys, thank you guys so much for hopping in. With the time change and everything, I'm so glad so many of you guys made it. Hey Darlene, I was overdressed this morning. Oh my God. So last week, was it last week? Yeah, last week, Monday, I went to run. And I think within 10 or 12 minutes, I was pulling stuff out. I was pulling the hat off. I was pulling my gloves off. I was pulling a shirt off. I'm so overdressed because we get so used to the warm weather. Then all of a sudden when the cold weather comes, we think we have to put all this stuff on. So that's what we're going to talk about tonight. Hey, Lara. Hey, Lara. What up? Both of you guys right in a row. Hi, Diane. Hey, Susie. Susie, did you get the gift certificate or the Jamba that I sent you? Did you get it? Hey, Jennifer. Hey, Lisa. You guys, thank you guys so much for hopping in. Okay, so let's talk about this. Let me just turn that just a little bit. Okay. How's the wedding? Hey, Cherie. Oh, girl, I'm so glad you're on. Stay on for a second. This is important. Okay, first thing, dress for 15 degrees cooler. And this is like a general rule of thumb. So if it's 40 degrees outside, you want to dress like it's 55. If it's 30 degrees outside, you want to dress like it's 45. Think about that for a second, you guys. And this is one thing that I always forget. I know it. I mean, it's just the back of my head, know it. But I'm just, you wake up, maybe your floor is cold in your bathroom or you're wherever you're getting ready. And you're like, oh, I'm so cold. I'm going to bundle up on a butt. And then you get out there and you overdressed. So I saw that, Lisa. I saw that. Hey, Mark. Hey, Robert. Okay. So what you want to make sure you do is dress for 15 degrees cooler than it really is. Because once you start running and you start getting warmed up, what you don't want to really do is overheat. And again, it just happened to me last week. I was like, oh my God, I'm sweating my butt off. Because what happens is once you start to sweat and then all that stuff becomes wet, you got to keep going. And then if you stop for a drink or a walk break or anything else, you are going to get the chills that you just cannot get rid of. At least I can't till I come home and take a hot shower. So what you want to make sure you do is don't overdress. Don't wear too much stuff. You're better off, and you should be like chilly into your run for maybe, I don't know, 10, 15 minutes. You should be chilly. You should be, I mean, that's ideally what you want because you're going to warm up. But if you go into it, I'm nice and comfortable, and then you start to run, you're going to overheat. You're going to sweat up all those clothes that you're wearing, and then they're going to get wet, and then you're not going to be able to recover from that. So you better keep running until the finish. Hey, John, welcome. Thanks for hopping on. Hey, Jim, thank you guys so much for coming in and watching tonight. Okay, so number 1 is dress for 15 degrees cooler. Number 2 is to dress in layers. Okay, dress in layers, meaning don't just go out and put like a big old heavy, I don't know, like flannel pullover. I don't know. You don't want to do that. What you want to do is dress in layers, maybe two, maybe sometimes 3, depends on how cold it is, depends on how heavy those layers are. But the cool thing is that then you can start shedding those layers. And so on my run last week when I was super hot and I overdressed, oops, I took my hat off and I threw it because it was just an out and back. I just threw it to the ground, and so I could just pick it up on my way back. It's pretty, I don't want to say desolate trail because that sounds scary, but just not very well traveled in the morning when I go. So take that off. Or I've been known to hang shirts in a tree, gloves in a tree. So if you dress in layers, so and you can take things off as you go. And I think one of the most important things I've ever learned was to start taking them off before you start to sweat. So before you start sweating, you get warm. You get really warm. Once those clothes get wet, you're kind of toast. You're kind of screwed. You better keep them on. Have you ever gone for a run where you have a hat on and you started to sweat and you left it on, and then you took it off and you cooled off a little bit, but then you changed directions and the wind was coming at you, and then you try to put that same hat back on, but it's already wet? Don't want to do it. You don't want to do it. So what you have to do is kind of get used to when that point where you're really, really warm, you're warm right before you start to sweat. Take that layer off. You can tie it around, like if it's a shirt, tie it around your waist. If it's a hat, you can carry it. If it's an out and back or a neighborhood that you are familiar with and comfortable with and you don't think someone's going to steal your stuff, just throw it somewhere. But try to get that first layer off before all your clothes start to get wet. Hey, Jackie. Hi, Mia. I used to love running in freezing cold in Michigan. It doesn't get nearly as cold. Oh, well, look at you moving in Tennessee. Hey, Donna. Welcome, you guys. Thank you guys so much for hopping in. Okay, I want to announce if you want to win this week's giveaway, you guys, I'm giving away a free pair of Mizuno gloves, Breathe Thermal gloves. So these things are they're engineered so that when you do start to sweat, the fabric is supposed to warm up. I mean, I don't know. I'm not sure of that. I haven't tried these. But they are supposed to self-generate heat. So they're supposed to be really good for cold weather running. So if you are interested in winning this pair of gloves, all you have to do is share this video. And you'll be entered in the raffle. Hey, Beto. Hey, where have you been? Oh, you've been recovering, right? From Louisville? What's going to be next year? All right. And I want to announce last week's winner. Last week, I was giving away this journal because last week we talked about how to avoid off-season weight gain, and that was Cherie. Cherie, if you are still on, girlfriend, just message me your address, and I will mail this out to you. You are the winner from last week. All right. Okay, so number 3, moisture wicking fabrics. And you guys, I can't stress this enough, that you really need to invest in some really good stuff that is moisture wicking. And what that means is that as you start to sweat, the fabric picks up that moisture and pushes it outward to try and dry off. I guess you have to experience it, because when I first started, I was like, yeah, it's just all gimmick. Who needs it? But you do. I mean, I guess you see people doing their 5Ks and 10Ks and marathons and cotton t-shirts, but not very many of them. And there's a reason for that, because this new high-tech, I guess it's not new anymore, but it's this high-tech fabrics that help push that moisture out to the outside is designed to help you keep cooler, keep more comfortable. And I say cooler, but in winter, you want to keep warmer, right? But you do want that moisture away from your skin, because that is what's going to keep you cooler, like damp, like you just want that to be pushed away from you. So if nothing else, wear something that's moisture wicking underneath. So I did not put one out here today. I got some props for you guys today. I didn't pull one out today, but I have used Under Armour. I have used Kraft. I have used, I think Reebok has a version. I think Nike has a version. I've used all of those, and I put those on as my first thin. It's usually a thin layer, but like if it's really cold, I'll use a thicker Under Armour or a thicker Kraft. There's Under Armour has some really great stuff now. 2.0, 3.0, and I just heard today they have a 4.0. Oh my gosh, you guys, that stuff is so comfortable. But before that, I used Craft, and Craft has a thinner version, a thicker version, the most comfortable stuff you'll ever wear, and keeps you totally warm. Next year, hey, oh, sorry, and goal is to, no matter what, better your horrible time. Beto, we can talk about that. Hey, Kathy, welcome. You picked up winter running pants, Donna. That's awesome. Lilia, first layer is always a thin armor shirt. Yes, it should be. It should be, right? Because that's, I mean, whatever's closest to you needs to be moisture wicking, but super comfortable. Okay, so you want to make sure that you wear the moisture wicking fabrics. And before I even go on any further, because we're talking about all these cool clothes and stuff that you should do and get, the bonus this week, just go to TriRightCoaching.com/bonus. If someone could type that in the comments, I'd appreciate that. You got to do the www, I think. If you do that, if you type that in, the link will pop up. I put in a list of top 10 places where you can buy these things and buy them at a good price. You don't, I mean, who wants to pay more than you really need to pay? Oh, thank you, Cheryl. I appreciate that. Thank you. But yeah, that's what you want to do. You want to go to TriRightCoaching.com/bonus, and I put in a list of places where you could get these clothes for your winter runs. And now that it's the beginning of November, now's a great time to go and get some of those things. All right. Number 4, wear running tights. I do know some guys, I do know one woman, but I do know some guys who always wear like shorts all winter long, no matter what. My personal opinion, you're crazy. Okay, you're crazy. I got to keep my legs warm. And I'm not saying hot, but warm. And I think running tights are a great way to do it. I just know some guys, I don't know if the guys think it's macho. I don't know if the girl thinks it's macho. Maybe they're not comfortable with tights. I don't really know what it is. But me personally, I like to keep warm. So invest in a great pair of running tights. And the cool thing about running tights, I'm going to get to that later. But there are a lot of different versions. There are a lot of different brands. I think you need to try some on. And I will tell you, they're not cheap. They're not cheap. But I bought my very first pair of winter running tights, and I think they lasted me 9 years or 10 years of winter running. I don't care how much, well, I shouldn't say how, I don't care how much they cost. I think they were like $150. This was way back when. But they were the best tight, they were the best. And I almost cried because they're discontinued, and now I have to find a new pair of running tights. And I've got a few pairs now that I bought recently that I don't like as much as that last pair, but I will tell you, you get what you pay for. Okay, so don't be afraid to invest in a pair of nice, comfortable running tights. And if you take care of them, if you wash them properly and dry them properly, they will serve you for years and years, and you will get more than what you paid for out of it. So just got to kind of bite the bullet. Hey, Laura, thank you. Thank you. CWX. Oh, Cherie, yes. CWX are great. Yes and no. They're so tight. I kind of think that sometimes tights, when they're that tight, that doesn't keep me warm. So if I was going to do CWX, I'd probably pull on a pair of loose pants on top of it to kind of insulate them a little bit. It's just me. Even their heavy-duty winter ones, which I have 2 pair, and yeah, they're great, but it's always like they're too tight. I need some insulation in between. I don't really know, but I do love CWX tights. Maybe not my favorite tights for winter, but I do love them. Okay, number 5 is protect the hands, and I'm going to show you guys a little trick. Like I said, I brought some props for you tonight. So you want to protect the hands, and you don't want to overheat, right? Because you sweat a lot. You sweat a lot from your head. You sweat a lot from your hands. You sweat a lot from your feet. So what I usually do is I take a thin layer. Now, you guys, this is like a $1 pair of gloves from like the Walmart or whatever. Okay, so I take a thin pair, and then so these are hand warmers, and I bought these. I think I bought a box of these at Costco for like $20. Okay, and so I'll take one hand warmer and put it in my hand, and then So so the hand warmer's in my hand, and then I'll put over this thin shell right here. Okay? Like that. And that's kind of how, and in most cases, I usually don't put the thumb in there because my thumb will get cold. So I'll just kind of clench that hand warmer like this. So this is windproof. I don't even know what brand this is anymore. This is a really old glove. In fact, I lost the mate to it. You know what? I never do that. But I lost it. But so this is what I'll do. And then if my hands do end up getting warm, now I got this. Now this is going to chill out. I still have my hand warmer, right? And if the hand warmer gets too hot, I'll pitch it. I'll find a garbage, or I'll put it in another area of my body that might be cold, put it in a pocket, whatever. And if my hand starts to get cold again, I can always put my this is not really thick. It's more like a windsock kind of thing. But that's what I will do. Yes, I wear 2 pairs of gloves. Sorry, I'm high maintenance. Hi, Camillo. Hey, Jim, a little loose. Yes, exactly. I do the same thing with your hands. Yes, nice tip. Going to be doing that. Awesome, Lara. That's very cool. Darlene, what temps do you wear the double gloves? Darlene, you can't judge on me. Everybody's different. I'm not wearing double gloves yet. I am wearing gloves already because when I'm running right now in the morning, it's like, what is it, 36, 37? I already have the gloves on, but thin ones, not thick ones. And sometimes I pull them off and just carry them. Again, because then if you turn around and you're into the wind and your hands get cold again, I can put them back on. But what temperature I usually get the 2 gloves? Probably under freezing, like 20 maybe. And if it's really, really cold, I don't just use this little thin thing. I'll use I have a bigger, thick one. Now, can't do anything with it. Like once you put those on your hands, you can't. They're so thick. But it just depends on you. I have what's called Raynaud's. Maybe you guys have heard of it. But my hands tend to get really cold really fast, especially the fingertips. So I'm very overprotective of keeping them warm. That's just an MJ thing. That's maybe not be you. So you have to kind of decide like what temperature is that you need them. But here's what I always say, and especially I say to all my clients, overpack, bring more than you need, and if you don't need it, don't use it. But if you need it and you don't have it, you're going to be uncomfortable. All right, cool. Remember, TriRightCoaching.com/bonus. You're going to get a list of 10 different places that you can get these kinds of products at a cheap price and really good ones. Okay, maybe not all of them are cheap, but they're quality, right? You get what you pay for. What's the point of buying a pair of cheap running tights that don't keep you warm or don't fit you right or don't feel good and you just throw out? You're better off buying more expensive pair. See, Lara, it stinks. And you know what? When I looked that up online, you know what they said? Oh, stop smoking. Okay. I've never smoked a day in my life. Never. So that ain't it. Okay. Number 5 was protect the hands. Number 6 is wear a light hat. And I mean light, you guys. This was my problem last week. I went out and I wore a hat and I shouldn't have because it was too warm. But your head is one of the first things of your body that heats up. And again, if your head starts to sweat, you need to take that off. Take that hat off before it starts to get wet. So this is the hat. It's a Mizuno. You can tell I like Mizuno, right? So this is the hat I was wearing, and I usually just kind of tuck it in. I wear it. It's thin. It's thin, but this is actually a very thick fabric, or not thick fabric, a warm fabric. It's not thick. It's thin. But this is too warm for 38 degrees. FYI, too warm. So again, about like 15 minutes in, I ripped it off, but I held it in my hand because when we did turn around and come back, it was windy. I put it back on. But thankfully, I took it off before I started to sweat, so it wasn't wet. Once it gets wet, you try to put it back on. Now, because you take it off your head, right? It's already wet. It gets cold because you're running with it in your hands, right? You go to put it back on. Your ears are cold. Your head's cold. Now the wetness in here is now cold. You put it back on, you're even more cold. So it doesn't work. So wear a thinner hat than you think you need. I have a couple of really thick ones, and usually I only put them on after my run is finished when I have to sit in the car and drive home because I need to keep the heat in, but I don't run with them. They're too hot. Too hot. Why are you laughing, Lara? Don't laugh at me. I'm not trying to be funny. All right. Again, if you want to win this week's bonus, this week's giveaway is a free pair of Mizuno running gloves. These are size large. And this is a fabric that is designed when you start to sweat, and that the moisture gets into the glove, the fabric's supposed to heat up. It's supposed to be a really good glove. So if you want to win this glove, which I'm giving away, all you have to do is share the video, and you'll be entered in the raffle to win this glove next week. All right. Number 7, neck warmer. How many ways so we run? Like, right? This part gets cold, especially in the wind. Some of us, even, you know what? Okay, so the old school Under Armours had a little collar, right? But the new ones are like the 2.0 and 3.0 I have. They just are regular shirts. They don't have this. So a lot of times, like, you don't want this part to get cold. And also, if it's really, really cold and probably closer to freezing, like, I don't want to say freezing because that's 32. I mean under freezing, like 0 or negative wind chill. You want to have something to be able to cover over your nose and your mouth. Again, be careful of when you're breathing, you get it wet, right? So you can do a balaclava, which goes over your head, goes over your mouth, but I find that to be too, like, tight on my head a lot of times. I'll wear that under a bike helmet because I need the space for my bike helmet. But, so this is like a thin, like, buff. Like, yeah, I'll watch Survivor and stuff. It's like a buff, right? So I'll pull this over. And then I can very easily pull it up, put it down, pull it up, put it down. Okay, this is a thin one, right? If you can see how thin this is, you guys. But I also have a thicker one. This one's got a fleece lining inside. Okay, so this is heavy duty. This is like I'm running in the Arctic, man. But this thing is super, super warm. Again, the cool thing about these is if you are overheating, just take it off. Just take it off, and you can. Here's what's cool about it. So you do this. If I can do that, I can run with it like this. When I get cold again, I can take it right back off. What I like about that is that I don't have to run with it in my hand. I like stuff that I can just put somewhere else. Same thing with this one. You can do the same thing. Okay. So I would tell you, again, go on the thinner side than you think you need. So this one would be great. Well, this one's even too warm for right now. I mean, it might be good for the neck, but I would never put this over my mouth and face in 36-degree weather, 37. This is just, you don't need to cover your nose and mouth. But sometimes when the air is super, super cold, you want to be able to cover it with something. What brand? I don't know. Hi, Brad. You're late. I don't know what brand this is. Jim, are you still on? Remember that? Because I stole this from Jim. I don't know. SA. I don't know what that is. I have no idea. I don't know if this one's the same thing. I have no idea where you got these guys, though, but probably like REI. I got a couple of them at like a Triathlon Expo because they were cool. Oh, yeah. This is also same brand. Did not know that. I guess I should have known by this digi camo print, whatever. I don't care. I just want to stay warm. Sometimes I don't even care if I match. Hey, Sherry. Google SA gear. Thank you, Jim. All right. So the neck warmer. When this part gets cold, it's hard. So you can, like I said, you can just have it on there. If you get too warm, you can always take it off. I wrap it around my wrist so I don't have to actually carry it in my hand. And then the last one is wind protection. So when it gets cooler, and sometimes if it's really windy, you might want to put like a shell jacket on. It could be a vest. Not a fan of vests, right, Jim? But it could be a vest. What I like about the shell part is that some of the tights, and I think Laura mentioned earlier, those CWX tights, they do have a slight wind shell. At least they do in the women's. I'm not sure if they do in the men's. Right in the front and right in the back. So, right in the and sometimes the front and the quads and the hip area, and then sometimes the bootay area. They'll have nice shell because that's where, especially women, that's where we tend to get cold first, in the front of the quads and in the butt. Because there's just, I don't know if there's less circulation there. I don't know what it is, but that's the thing. And I don't think guys tights have the same protection. The other thing I'll do is wear a SAFishing.com. Thanks, Jim. Chapstick and lotion on face. Oh, Donna, I won't do that. I mean, I'm not saying it's wrong, but if I put lotion on my face and then I pull this up, then the lotion's getting all over this. Ew. Same thing with like chapstick. I put that on and then I'm like, I put this over my face, then the chapstick's on this. Ick. Ick, ick. It's just me. I'm weird. So, what was I saying? Wind protection. So, like I said, I don't think the guys have that, but check for tights like that. So, again, you just invest in, that's what I was saying. I will sometimes wear, I bought a pair of compression shorts that I will wear underneath my running tights because that'll give me just that extra added layer, and I'm super comfortable and warm throughout the run. So those are kind of my tricks, you guys. All right, last time, if you want to win this free pair of Mizuno Breathe Thermo gloves, all you have to do is share this video. You'll be entered in the raffle for the video next week, or for the gloves next week. Next week's topic, top 10 gifts for triathletes. So this could be you. This could be someone in your family. Maybe you should tell them to come and watch the video if there's something on there that you would like. But I am going to give you the top 10 gift ideas this year for triathletes. Some will be in a lower price level, some will be medium, some will be high. It really depends on, kind of what you need. But every year there's newer, better stuff coming out, and so I think it's important. And if you are a triathlete or you support a triathlete, then maybe you want to get them something really cool for Christmas. And who couldn't use a new gadget, tool, clothes, something for winter running? Who knows? All right. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you have any questions, please go ahead and put them in the comments below this video. Again, TriRightCoaching.com/bonus if you want a list of places to go ahead and try and buy some of these things that I think will help you with your winter running and be comfortable. Because you guys, if you're not warm and comfortable in winter running, you're not going to do it. You're either going to go inside on a treadmill, on a track, or you're not going to do it at all. But there are pieces of clothing that can help you run in no matter what. So all you have to do is find those things, and once you do, you'll understand what I'm talking about. So, hey Marcin, thank you guys so much for hopping in. I enjoy all of you. I appreciate you spending just a little bit of your Sunday evening with me. I hope to see you all here live next week at 7 p.m. Central Time when we talk about the top 10 gifts. Yeah, I guess they are. I did call them top 10. Top 10 gifts for triathletes for the holiday season. So thank you guys so much for watching. Hope to see you next week. Have a great night.